Every person who has struggled with anxiety has struggled with some level of OCD. All these labels, panic disorder, agoraphobia, depression, health anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety, the root cause is the same. The root cause is fear, and the way to respond to them is also the same. You can be given all those labels. Someone else is, has been diagnosed with panic disorder. Someone else is social anxiety. Someone else is generalized anxiety disorder, because the manifestations are different. But the root cause is the same. The way to respond is the same. One way that I moved forward in my recovery journey was dropping all these labels. All these labels were too heavy. I'm struggling with OCD, panic disorder, depression. All those levels were too heavy and too many. So what I did is I placed my symptoms under the anxiety umbrella, because the root cause was the same. I was struggling with fear, chronic fear. Right now that I am recovered and I use my experience to help others who are still struggling, I might use the labels sometimes for you to be able to understand exactly what is happening. In this particular video, I want to talk about OCD, also known as obsessive compulsive disorder. I want to talk about it as a standalone because of how it bagged me down. OCD takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and in this particular video, we want to go deeper. I want to explain to you how OCD manifests and how to be able to overcome OCD. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Medley Albert. Albert is an ex-anxiety sufferer who uses her own experience of suffering and recovery to help others who are still struggling. If you have not yet subscribed yet, I would urge you to watch this video up to the end. If you feel like this video is valuable and you want to see more of these videos on your timeline, kindly hit that subscription button. Otherwise, let's get started into this video. So OCD in full is known as obsessive compulsive disorder. OCD has two components. The obsessions are the thoughts that pop up in your head, the obsessive repetitive thoughts that don't seem to go away. These thoughts are obsessive, repetitive, and they give you so much anxiety that you feel like you need to do something to find relief from anxiety. The obsessions are the first fear. You have no control over the obsessions. In simple terms, you are simply having these obsessive thoughts because you are hypersensitized. The obsessions can be your thoughts, how you feel, what you saw, your environment, what you had. They can be anything, and they occur simply because you are sensitized. Then we have the compulsions. These ones are all in your control. A compulsion is anything you do to try and find relief from anxiety. Compulsions can be mental or physical. Compulsions are not only physical, because the narrative that people have is that compulsions can only be physical. Compulsions are also mental. I had so many mental compulsions. They can be worrying and analyzing your thoughts, solving your thoughts, playing past scenarios, trying to make your thoughts go away, counting, ruminating, trying to make your thoughts right. Then there are also physical compulsions. Physical compulsions include checking, reassurance seeking, praying compulsively, switching on and off the lights, always checking the gas. Anything you do to try and alleviate yourself from anxiety. These are what we call compulsions. Compulsions come in form of urges. A compulsive thought pops up in your head, then you feel the need. Your brain tells you that if you don't, check the gas, if you don't switch on and off the lights, if you don't do something to alleviate this anxiety, then you will stay like that forever. So you take action. And compulsions can be subtle. They can even be checking your heart rate, checking your blood pressure, checking your pulse, walking with medication and water just in case something happens, constantly analyzing your thoughts, seeking reassurance from the doctors. I started this video by saying any person who has struggled with anxiety has struggled with some sort of OCD. So OCD compulsions can be subtle. It doesn't have to be chronic the way I struggle with chronic compulsions, but it can be subtle. Something just like, checking your heart rate, checking your BB, checking your pulse. Those are forms of compulsions, and they come in form of urges. You feel like if I don't do these things, your brain tells you if you don't do this thing, then something bad is gonna happen to you. So you take action, especially when you don't understand the OCD cycle. That's why I've taken my time to create a standalone on how OCD works. You need to understand this. What keeps the OCD cycle going are the compulsions you are performing. Yes, the compulsions might provide some short-term relief, but in the long term, whatever you're teaching your brain is that there is something dangerous. When the brain sees that there is something dangerous, it releases more anxiety. The part of the brain called the amygdala, it's the brain's fear center. It releases more anxiety. Have you ever realized that the moment you perform these compulsions, you get more intense anxiety? It might provide some short-term relief for some minutes, but the next thought you're gonna have, it's gonna be more intense with more excess anxiety. Have you ever noticed that? This means the last action you took, it strengthened the fear pattern. For OCD, you can know very well, the back of your mind, you know very well that that thought is irrational. But no matter what you do, you Google, you ask your friends, you seek reassurance, that thought doesn't seem to go away. It is because OCD doesn't understand logic or facts. Your brain learns through what it sees. Your brain does not learn through, affirmations, through logic, through facts. It only learns through your actions, what it sees you do. So if you are consistently performing compulsions, what you're teaching your brain is that there is something dangerous. Therefore, more anxiety, excessive anxiety, and you will keep on performing these compulsions, especially when you don't understand what is happening. So understanding what is happening, understanding how the OCD cycle works is key to overcoming it. And let me tell you something, OCD for me was one of my first symptoms to go away. After understanding what was happening and I dropped my safety behaviors, I dropped the compulsions, I learned to tolerate uncertainty, I learned to tolerate the discomfort, OCD literally faded away. It was one of my first levels to fade away. The first key to overcoming OCD is literally dropping the compulsions. This is, leave alone tolerating uncertainty, tolerating discomfort. The first thing that you need to do is to drop those compulsions. I know there will be urge, there will be excessive anxiety, the thoughts will stick, but live your life with those thoughts there. Allow the thoughts to be there, allow the excessive anxiety to exist without you performing the compulsions. These compulsions, washing your hands, checking, seeking reassurance, checking your BP, checking your heart, these compulsions are the ones that are driving this cycle. If you drop those compulsions, you will start healing from OCD. OCD can be tricky. It latches on what you care about the most. It latches on what you love the most. So that moment when anxiety is intense, when you feel excessive anxiety and your brain is giving you suggestions, go and check, go and wash your hands, go and, you have not switched off the gas, you have not switched off the lights. If it sees you're not performing compulsion, it will bring another thought. And if you give in to that thought, you are perpetuating the OCD cycle. Remember, the brain learns when anxiety is turned on. That moment where you're feeling this excessive anxiety, that is the moment you should feel this anxiety without performing the compulsions. You need to learn to tolerate the discomfort. The reason why you are performing these compulsions is because you don't know how to deal with this discomfort. You believe you need to do something to find relief from anxiety, to alleviate this anxiety, while in reality, logically, these compulsions are the ones that are driving this anxiety cycle. The four main causes of anxiety recovery, the first one being dropping those compulsions. Drop those compulsions and allow the discomfort that comes with you not performing these compulsions. Tolerate uncertainty. Just say maybe or maybe not to those thoughts, because I've told you OCD will latch on what you care about the most, what you love the most. If you care about your spouse, that's what OCD will latch on. If you care about your kids, that's what OCD will latch on. I've had people who, reach out to me and tell me, like, my OCD is making me not even wanting to hold my baby. I believe that I don't love my baby. I might harm them. When I stand with my baby at the balcony, I might throw them. That one is the obsessive thought that pops up in your head. I want you to hold your baby and go and stand with the baby at the balcony. 99% you are in control. OCD and anxiety sufferers, 99% they are in control. You're not gonna do anything. Another form of OCD recovery is exposure. Exposing yourself to your fears. If you fear knives, don't hide them. Stay near those knives. If you fear holding your baby, hold that baby and stand at the balcony. Nothing is gonna happen. 99% you are in control. You're just trying to expose yourself to your fears and showing the brain that really, stop sending me these thoughts, because literally you can see I'm not doing anything. Exposure is doing the opposite of what OCD wants you to do as you allow the discomfort to exist. Surrender to the discomfort. The fourth way is allowing the thoughts to be there as you live your life. Live your life with those thoughts there. Don't wait to feel relief or to feel better is when you want to start living your life. Live your life now. Those thoughts won't go away as you wait. One day you just realize, I haven't thought about this thought in a while. I haven't think that in a while. That's when you know you are recovering from OCD. So allow those thoughts to be there as you live your life, exposing yourself to your fears, tolerating uncertainty, and also tolerating discomfort. Once you do these four things, recovery from OCD is inevitable. It is also very important to identify your compulsions. Just sit down and ask yourself, what is it that I do to find relief from anxiety, to feel better when I'm experiencing anxiety? Once you have identified that, know that those are your compulsions and practice on how you can drop them. If you're someone who can't go all in, it's okay. You can practice gradually reducing the compulsions. Me, I was tired of performing the compulsions, so I went all in and dropped all my compulsions. Once I had identified my compulsions, I literally just dropped them all. So you don't have to be like me. If you're someone who can't just, let go of their compulsions at once, you can gradually practice to reduce them. And that's what I do. I help people in, dropping their compulsions, dropping their safety behaviors, learning to tolerate uncertainty, and learning to tolerate discomfort. I guide you through that OCD journey and show you exactly what you need to do to recover from OCD. If that's something that you struggle with and you may need a guide to help you through your OCD journey, use this WhatsApp or this email to reach out to me. Otherwise, let's meet on the next one.